guys, welcome to another Sims 4 speed building video. I've made this video especially for Halloween. I love Halloween so much. It is just so much fun. So I wanted to make a haunted house that was a little bit different to the other houses that I've seen other people do. I wanted it to be a little bit English feeling and not like the stereotypical American haunted houses that you see in the movies. So I've just gone with a typical sort of English home, Victorian style home, and then just added a bit of darkness and made the garden extremely overgrown, because in my mind a haunted house is just so terrifying that nobody wants to go there, so everything's overgrown and it's just an abandoned house. I wish we could put like boards up over the windows and stuff. That'd be so great. In the end I did use shutters, the closed ones, as that was the best effect. But one thing I found really difficult was choosing the wallpapers, just because it didn't have any really run down ones, you know, like in The Sims 3 where you could change the style just to make it that extra look of, well, to just make it look extremely run down. You couldn't do that in this, so I did find it a bit difficult. I did use some of the content from the spooky stuff pack for the wallpapers, the black boarding, but again I felt like the wallpapers weren't very good that came with the spooky stuff pack. I mean, there's only one that you could use a lot. The others were more like gimmicky Halloween stuff, like the ghost ones. But you know, the content is nice. It's just I don't know how often I'd be able to use it. Which, you know, I'd rather have things in a stuff pack that I'd use for a lot of builds and just some stuff that were more generic and gimmicky. But as I said, I did use a couple of stuff, so that's good. At this point, I'm still trying to work out how I want the house to look. So I've got a couple of bits that kind of stick out on the second floor like a Tudor style house. We didn't have very many wallpapers that I could use to represent a Tudor style either. I know that with the new expansion pack that's coming out in December, we will have more Tudor and English style wallpapers for the exterior of the house. So, you know, then we could remake it at that point, and, you know, it might be quite nice. But I kind of did the best with what I had content-wise. And I do like the way it turned out. But it doesn't look extremely English with its final, with the final look. It isn't very English. At this point, I'm just putting some dormers in on the third floor and trying to get them to look right with that the second floor or the first floor bit that kind of comes out at the front, and then trying to decide what to do at the back, because I just felt that the back was really plain and boring, and just playing around with dormers again, but in the end I don't like them just because of the width. I like everything to kind of sit right, and it just didn't look right. So in the end I did get rid of that, and I do put another bit that comes out the side like in the front, because it was just so boxy and simple, the shape wise. So I did change that in a bit and just trying to make it look more interesting and exciting. When building houses, I sometimes feel that when I make them that they're very one-dimensional sometimes, so I try and not do that and give it some angles and interesting shapes, especially where it is just one kind of box. Especially in the back there, you can see it's like an L-shaped building, and I just add in some balconies and stuff like that just to give it some more dimension and shape, and be a little bit more exciting and interesting, and just pull those dormers through, two of them to the back, just to give another level. In the end I do make that into kind of like a Cinderella's bedroom, you know, where she's kind of been put into this the top of the house in like a tower, I suppose. Not a literal tower, but you know when you put them in the tower in the quotation marks, and they're kind of stuck in this horrible area where they can't really do anything with it, and it's just really dark and dingy and not very nice. So that's what I kind of did with the top floor, and just trying to work out where I wanted the front door. At first I thought I wanted it underneath the section that comes out on the first floor, but because that was 3 squares and the options for doors that took up 3 squares didn't really fit into what I had envisioned for the house, so I just put it on the side there, and later on I kind of changed it a bit to make it just look more interesting again, putting in some balconies or patios just to make it look a bit more scary and older fashioned. And yeah, just playing around with doors, trying to work out what I wanted to do. In the end, I didn't have a door on the side. I just felt that it looked a bit weird, so I got rid of that. Sorry, I'm just having a drink of coffee. But yeah, it took me so long to kind of decide what I wanted to do with this house, and especially with the windows. I kind of put all the windows in, but I didn't have the wallpaper sorted out, which is kind of a big mistake on my part. I should have done the wallpaper first, because once I actually decide what wallpaper I like, I then delete all the windows and change them so it fits in with the colour scheme better, because at the moment they're all dark brown, and with the black and greys that I do go with in the end for the walls, it didn't really fit that well and didn't look very good, so I then had to change them all to kind of fit in with the wallpaper. As you can see on the top floor in the dormers, with the grey and the brown, it just didn't look right, and I'm just playing around with all my different options. So this is the siding is from the Spooky Stuff pack with the wood, and then I've got a brick, and later on I do bring out like a plaster, I believe, or like a grey, that, so it looks a bit more rustic looking, a grey rustic feel to it, and then I used brick, the grey and the black throughout the exterior of the house. And yeah, I really like the way that it turned out in the end. I think it just looks a bit more spooky with the black, like, distressed wood. Looks really good. I just wish that we had more options for, the plaster with where it's coming off the wall and you can see the brick underneath. I wish we had more colours for that, because I would have used that in a dark grey or something, just because it just gives a little bit more depth to it and it makes it look more run down. But yeah, working out the kind of colour scheme that I wanted and trying to put on a chimney breast that looked right, but I just felt that looked a bit weird without the with the bit coming out, the chimney breast coming out, just because it was too deep and the chimney top didn't really fit in with what I was doing in the end. But I don't think I have the chimney breasts, chimney hoods, I think they're called. I don't know what they're called. I think they're hoods. I don't think I have that in the end on the building at all. I don't remember. But I don't remember deleting them. I don't know whether they accidentally got deleted on their own. They probably did, and then I just didn't notice. So they don't stay in the end. But if you guys want to put them back, you can. There's just a few dots around at the top. And now I'm just kind of looking at what windows to do with the black siding. And I did try this white, but it's just too light and inviting with the white, and I just didn't think that it fitted in with the look that I wanted. I wanted to look a bit more ominous and scary, so people wouldn't really want to go there. So then I do eventually change it to the black shutters that are closed, because there's not very many options for black windows, which I find really annoying, especially with this build, because all I wanted was black windows. And now you can see me playing around with what little options I had black windows wise, and they were all either very modern or office like. They just weren't the Victorian style that I was hoping to use, so I was a bit disappointed with that. And then also with the grey accented windows, again the options were quite limited, so I then had to change all the windows up a little bit to kind of make it fit in with the look and feel that I was going for. But I think it turned out quite nicely in the end. Sometimes when there are the restrictions, it kind of makes you look at different options, I suppose, and kind of makes you go with a different direction than what you would have done at the beginning. So it kind of worked out quite well, having the limitations that are set at the beginning with the options for the windows. And I did try using some of the really big floor to ceiling windows and make them go across 2 floors, but then I just felt like what didn't look right. And then just putting in some flower beds with the fencing, the old-fashioned Victorian iron fence, which I think is really cute. And then still just working on windows and how I'd have them all kind of going together. And this is the part when I try and think of what I'm going to do with the front section. I felt that it was just so plain. It kind of reminds me a little bit of new build houses, especially in my area. All new build houses tend to have the I don't know, is it Swedish or I'm not sure. It has that look and feel, and it reminded me of that, which is not what I wanted. I wanted it to look really old, so I added on this balcony with the spandrels. I don't know what they're called. The thing at the top with the that come down off the balcony and the roof. The top, I think it's spandrels. I'm not sure. I don't know. And then just adding some roofing detail just to kind of tie it in and make it kind of fit in with the roof that's already there. And I actually really like the way it turned out. Sometimes when you kind of start out and you develop the idea as you go along, the end product is so different to how you thought it'd be, but it kind of works sometimes. And I was really happy with the way that this house looked in the end. I'm still sort of trying to find windows that I liked. I really love this door that came with the first expansion pack that I can't remember the name of now. Get to Work, that's it. But I just felt that they were too open for a haunted house. So I do use that door at the back of the property, and then I take all these fancy windows out, and then I do eventually change it for the windows with the shutters when I do eventually find it. But yeah, I go through so many different options until I kind of find the right one. I suppose I'm still, and this is where I start finding them with the shutters, and then I change all of them to kind of fit in with how the front section looks. So the black have black accent windows, and then change it all up really. Oh, see, when I changed the floor plan inside, it deleted the 2 side windows, and I couldn't remember what it was, so I never actually put those that window back in. So if you guys want to put the windows back in the I'm going to call it a dormer, even though I don't think it's called that, on the first floor where it sticks out on the front, if you want to put back that window with the like the circular top that's in the top dormers on the sides, you can do that, but I didn't because I couldn't remember what it was. And then just overlaying the fancy windows on the side, I thought it gave it a really nice kind of old-fashioned look because of the pattern at the top. And when you enter overlay them. Just looks really interesting. But on the back I just did a similar idea to what was on the front, with the 2 balconies coming off the rectangular part of the house, just to give it some more depth, and did the roofing exactly the same as the front, so it kind of mirrors it at the back, and then just extending the balcony on the bottom floor across to the back door, and then adding a what's it called? Oh my god, don't you hate that when you you know what the word is and you can't remember it? And it always seems to happen when I'm filming, so I sound like such an idiot because I don't remember what things are called. So I get to it and I'm like, what's that thing called? And then you guys are probably like screaming and shouting at me going, oh my god, do you not know anything? But I remember now. Trellises. This. So yeah, I put a trellis over the top, and later I do cover that in plants, and make it all look very overgrown and kind of look like the plants have like climbed the building and the balconies. So I really hope you like the end product. It is a lot messier than I would normally do, landscaping wise, but I kind of like it. I think it's a little bit different to what I normally do, and I like to do that. I like to do something a bit more imaginative than the house before, and try and kind of push the boundaries on my own creativity. So I hope you like it. I think I've pretty much done the outside and I'm pretty much happy with it now, and then I just start doing the landscaping. Yes, and now is when I start doing the landscaping, and I do kind of start it and it's a bit neater, but I kind of go away from the game for the night because it gets quite late. My buildings take so long to do. I don't know how other sim YouTubers do them so quickly, but this took me 9 hours of building in real time, and I've sped it up 10 times speed. But yeah, so I take some time away in a bit, like you wouldn't notice, but I do leave the game for a little bit and just think about what I want to do look and feel wise, because at this point it's just really neat and tidy. Everything's kind of in the flower beds. And then when I got to these plants, I thought, you know, that's what I want to do. I want it to look really messy and unkept. So then I just start adding a lot of trees, and then like the wild grass, and this is where I start doing it. So it kind of the wild grass is coming out of the borders, and it's just going across the grass, and then some of these low-lying daisies just to give it some different looks, and add some color in it. And it looks like wildflowers, you know, like weeds, when you have weeds and they spread across and they got like the little flower. So I kind of wanted it to look like that. And then a lot of the taller grass, just to give it some height and look like it's really overgrown because it's been allowed to grow so high. And then some kept bushes with unkept bushes, just so it looks like at one point it was really well landscaped, and it's just kind of gone a bit crazy and wild because it hasn't been maintained. So that's kind of look I was going for. And then I just oversized some of these rose bushes because they just kind of got lost in all the mess, really. And then I decided to add some of these trees and make them look like they were climbing the pillars on the balconies and going up. And then I also add some of the grass into the roof, so it looks like grass is coming out the roof and just very, very, very overgrown. In the back garden, a lot of it is just crazy landscape. It's just such a mess. So overgrown. If you guys do use this house and you landscape it properly, please do share it with me. You can find my Twitter link down below. Just tweet me, and I'd love to see what you guys have done with the property and how it's been renovated. to look newer. It would be great to see your creativity with, you know, my idea. But yeah, adding a lot of trees that are oversized and overlapping them, just to give it a little bit more spooky look. And then I wanted to use the chess pieces that came with, what did it come with? Was it Perfect Party, or I can't remember. And I didn't know where they were. I thought they were objects, but they're actually lighting. So I just searched them in the end. What's that with? Perfect Patio set, apparently. So yeah, I put together this chessboard and then some grass to make it look like it was abandoned, and there was grass growing through the tiles on the floor, and it was lifting, and then loads of trees just to give it that kind of privacy, because there's a play area or a little bit there, and then some more grass and stuff just to give it that little bit more of an unkept look, because it can't be too neat. It is a haunted house after all. And then I tried to think what I was going to do with the rest of the outdoor space, and in the end I did this little circular, I would call it a bandstand. I don't know if you call it a bandstand if it's in your back garden, but it's a circular patio thing, garden, eating area, and I put the spandrels or whatever that thing is called, and do this interesting roof, which I actually really like the roofing on this. It looks quite cool. I might do something like this in a community lot maybe. If you have any suggestions on what to build community wise, I find it really difficult to build community lots just because I just can never think about what I want to do. So if you have any suggestions or ideas on things that I can build community lot wise, please let me know, and I probably will do something in the future. But yeah, just give me your suggestions and I'll be happy to look at it. But then yeah, and then I just do a little pathway with some tiles and take it from the back stairs to the bandstand, and then just go absolutely crazy with the landscaping. Again, make the tree go up into the roof, and this is where I kind of start putting in the idea for the grass coming through the roof, and then I actually take that into the main house and put that in the roofing there. And I was really worried that it was actually going to delete it, because sometimes when you use move objects and the 9 key to erase things, when you start putting wallpapers and stuff, it deletes them. But I think because it was higher up, or I didn't put wallpaper in the room that the grass was in, I'm not sure, but it didn't delete it. So I didn't have to do it again, because I was like, I don't want to really have to do this again at the end, but it kind of all stayed there, so that was good. Apart from later on, I do like change the roofing a little bit, just because the roofing I had, I couldn't see into the dormer bedroom that I created, so I had to change the roof. And I think I might have moved over the pieces of grass then accidentally, so sticking out a little bit more. But yeah, it's pretty much kind of the way it looks now is the finished product of the outside. It doesn't change at all really, apart from just adding a couple of pieces of furniture to be used for outdoors. So there's a little seating area put in the bandstand, and a barbecue, like a freestanding one that you get in like picnics, like, you know, public picnic spots and stuff. Put that there, and then just doing some of the terrain painting. I wanted to look really, really run down, so I just did really the dark soil color across the whole thing pretty much, and then just went back over with 2 different greens to add some detailing with the grass, just to make it look less lush, because I don't want it to look too green and nice and well maintained. And then just working on the actual floor plan and putting in the flooring and creating rooms. I had so many difficulties with it deleting walls, and I just didn't want it to, so I just spent so long just fiddling with it and trying to make it right. And then because I did make it into one big room, it messed up the foundation detailing, so I had to create rooms so that I could change the foundation, which is a little bit annoying. And then I realized that I didn't really know what to do with the entranceway, because I wanted 2 grand staircases going up into the top floor, but then there was these big windows on the side, and I felt like I kind of ruined that look by having the 2 staircases. So I tried to do one, but in the end I just really liked the look of 2 staircases, so I kept that in, and then I just had staircases going down to a dungeon, because I just really didn't want to kind of waste the space by the window. And then I tried to delete the flooring there, and I couldn't. So, and then I couldn't do that and have the stairs. So I had to delete that. And then I tried this orientation, which kind of looks okay, but I really like the orientation I ended up with in the end. So yeah, and then I was trying to make the space at the on the top floor larger by making the wall height higher, so the stairs are longer, but it doesn't impact how much floor space is taken out. It's still only 3 squares. It doesn't matter how long the stairs are. So in the end I just went for the lowest wall height and kept it like that. But I did take out the bit where I was doing the flooring on the top floor, because my computer was going really slowly, and it was really annoying, so I just didn't record it. But it wasn't very exciting. It was just me putting flooring in on the top floor, and keeping that bit out. So you didn't miss out, I promise. You didn't miss out. And then adding the spandrels. If it's not called spandrels, it's going to be called spandrels, because that's what I'm calling it this whole episode, or part of this. And then I wanted to add in this curtain detail to look like it was coming down from the top floor down to the bottom floor. And I really loved it. And I made it this bright red colour, because what's spookier than red? Jokes. But I just really liked it in the red colour, and it's bright. And to me, a old house has loads of bright colours. So I had the red, and then I wanted to put in a chandelier, but they were just so glam. It's really annoying, but I do use one of the chandeliers in the end, because I just felt like it kind of completed the look and feel that I was going for, even though it was a bit more modern and glam than I wanted. But what are you gonna do? You can't change what is available. You gotta do the best. You've got to do the best with what you've got, basically. And then just working out the floor plan for the top floor. It kind of all just came together quite nicely. And I was just trying to work out where I wanted the stairs for the top floor to get into the dormer room. And then once that was sorted out, that was pretty much it. It was just so simple and easy. I wish building was as easy as this with every house with a floor plan, because it just kind of all came together so well. And then I used a secret book, what's it called? Like a bookshelf door for the study. I know, original, who thought a haunted house with a secret door. And I actually have one in the dungeon as well. So I do build a little dungeon area in the basement with a secret door as well. And with the beginning of the furnishing, I was kind of going between the entrance hall and the dining room. Like jumping between them, the two. In this part, I don't really do a lot. I'm just kind of fiddling around with the orientation and placement of stuff and trying to work out things. In the second part is where I get down and do a lot of the decorating. And I kind of stick to the one room. At this point, I'm kind of finding things going, oh, this should go in this room. So I do pull out loads of stuff as I go and push it around. But yeah, just trying out loads of different ideas. I wanted to have like a curtain and a long table. Like, you know, you're getting like Like when I watched Scooby-Doo, there was always a long banquet table, and I wanted something like that in my haunted house. So I was just playing around and trying to find the right wallpaper. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this part. I will be putting up part 2 very, very soon. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you again next time.